This is the Bar Stewards Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
And a huge warm welcome to the Bar Stewards Enquiry Weekend Podcast. We're covering Cheltenham 2 days this weekend. That's the Greatwood Sunday and the Paddy Power tomorrow. Full of decent action. Obviously, a bit of controversy regarding the two-runner novice chase today. And joining me this evening is John Lang of John Joe's Blogspot. Hello, John.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. And also is crack analyst Andy Richmond. Welcome again, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, Andy's had a great day today, so I'm expecting big things. And by the way, chaps, I think we need it. Quentin Franks is destroying us. You know, I mean, this is out of order. You know, Queen's Parker coming in, ransacking the table. You know, we're going to have to...
Has anyone... I thought the Breeders' Cup was drug-free this year. Has anyone drug-tested him?
He is unbelievable. I think
he must be the only person to have backed a hold-up horse from that barn this year and see him win from Simcox.
Yeah.
Well, I was a bit concerned about it, actually. So on Monday, I conducted a piss test. But unfortunately, it did just taste like piss. So.
Fair play to him. Fair play to him. Hats off to Quentin. I did send him a little note saying hats off for that, despite the fact that he beat the two that I backed in the November handicap as well. I just about put a tin hat on that. That did. But that's the end of the flap for me. I'll leave that to you and John now.
Certainly, if we've time today, we'll cover the two Lingfield television races, as well as all the Cheltenham races. Usual format, which is obviously the three best bets of the weekend. And I've even got Ginger Hitler's best three. There's a treat. I mean, this is just uncanny. I think he's edging to come back on the show, John.
I think I know what Hitler's best three might be, actually. I'm just going to hazard a guess here. Martin Bormann, Joseph Goebbels and Himmler.
It's a good try-cast. Definitely. Yeah, plenty of rogues gallery there. For sure. So you've got a treat. You've got Ginger Hitler's, you've got mine, John's and Andy's. Before we go on to our three best bets, just one talking point today that I thought was relevant for tonight's pod. Did you chaps see the Rachel Blackmore remounted, and what were your thoughts on it? Andy, did you see it?
I saw the race actually live as they were coming to the very tricky second last. The thought did cross my mind, is one of these going to go? And it nearly ended up with both of them. I didn't hear it, but I did hear that Mr. Walsh, who, by the way, was superb on the Road to Cheltenham programme with Lydia last night. Very, very good. If you haven't seen it, watch it, because that's what... I'm sorry, I'm digressing slightly, but that's what ex-jockeys should be used for, not to be tipping horses, but to telling you about how to ride in a race and positioning and stuff like that. His analysis of Flooring Porter was brilliant. Really, really good. If you haven't seen it, watch it. And I heard he was rather scathing on Harry, who I must admit, I'm not. It's hard to say I'm not a fan, but you know, it's got to be the worst champion jockey we've had in. Well, we've only had a couple in the last 20 years, but you know, to be honest with you, I think I can name a few better. And did he really need to be upsides at the second last? I mean, we'll all get the, you know, how many winners have you ridden Brigade on here, but I don't think the horse actually fell. He just didn't get his landing gear down. And then, obviously, Rachel, I mean, what is she meant to do? In that sort of situation, I always think you're just, you know, the adrenaline's going. She didn't fall. The horse did remarkably well. I mean, fair play to... I mean, I actually tweeted at the time, taking out the incident at all, you know, fair play to Rachel for staying on. That was some balance, but even more fair play to Gin on Lime, who, you know, really did well to get up. And, OK, you can take the unedified the sort of the welfare issues, I'm not a vet, but I mean, what are you meant to do in that situation? With she hasn't broken the rules. She's not remounted the horse, and maybe she should. Maybe I don't know. I think with the training part, I think she probably did what she thought was the right thing to do at the time. And with hindsight, everyone, every hindsight makes everyone a winner, doesn't it? And everyone now sort of not having a pile on, but sort of saying, oh, she should have done that, or some saying she should have done that or shouldn't have done that. Come on. I mean, you're riding in a race, you've done something like that, and you can win a race. Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for me. Personally, I think she probably did the right thing. I hope the horse is all right. I hope everyone out of it comes all right. I hope my drover's all right. Everyone seems to have been okay out of it, which is the bottom line. How often does that happen? I've never seen it. I've been watching racing for 30, 40 odd years now, seriously. And I've never seen that happen before in my life.
No, quite an extraordinary set of circumstances.
I think there's a couple of instances. I think it was one somebody pointed out with Ruby Walsh, and I suppose the other only famous one that I've only seen on film was Dick Francis on Devon Lock, wouldn't it? We actually stayed on the horse, but I don't know. It's one of those ones. It's a 50-50. I suppose it depends what your sensibilities are.
John, what was your take on events?
Well, us did the split. She wouldn't know it had done the split. She gets back up. She had no option other than to ride on. She did the right thing as far as I'm concerned. It was moving like an immaculate machine after it jumped the loss, so I wouldn't be too worried.
No, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, like I say, there's some people on Twitter that have taken the view that the horse didn't need 2 smacks. Well, it wasn't smacks; it was like 2 flicks really to get moving. The BHA have came out and made a statement and stated that.
Right.
doesn't take much to get the old somebody having a moan up on Twitter. I mean, there are some absolute miserable sods on there, aren't there? I mean, I appreciate both codes of racing, but some people just want to have a moan. Obvious flat fans, and I won't mention any names, just want to have a complete moan up about jump racing all the time, any little way they can. Just gets boring. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Just go away. Wait for the flat season or watch the all weather. I mean,
Our engineer a row with the horse race betters for him to keep yourself amused.
I'll leave that one to you, John.
Well, Carl Swanson has his view on it, and he says, with Fitzy giving my Drogo as his best bet this afternoon at Cheltenham, can we expect better from the bar stewards tonight? I hope so. Yeah, I hope so, Carl. I think we're due really. And me, John, and Andy are going to hit it right now. We're moving on to our 3 best bets. And first of all, I'll kick it off with the Ginger Hitler, who chimes in with his 3rd best bet of the weekend. And he steers you on the path of Zanza in the 2:15. That's the big race tomorrow, the Paddy Power. Or whatever you want to call it, old names, Mackerson, etc. That's 2:15 race. So that's Zanza, trained by Philip Hobbs and ridden by Tom O'Brien. 11-1 is available for the Hitler. So win bet, 1 point win, 11-1, Paddy Power and Betfair. That's the Ginger Hitler's 3rd best bet of the weekend. John, I'm coming to you for your 3rd best bet, please.
My 3rd best bet of the week is Man of the Mountain in the 2:15 at Cheltenham. Was taken out last week when there was a selection. I was more than happy to play. I'm going to have to stick with him. To me, like many Lavelle horses this season, he's looked in need of the debut. But last time, I thought his jumping was fantastic. He only got duffed when lack of fitness told. And I think he's coming here in very good order, and he should go well.
Good stuff. So, Man of the Mountain, are you available as the 25-1 with Paddy Power and Betfair Sportsbook? Are you each way a pleasure, or are you win?
Yes, I'll go each way.
It's 6 places as well, 150 odds.
Oh,
6 pegs for John Joe for his half a point each way. Man of the Mountain at a pony, 25-1. six pegs of pleasure. So that's in the 215 at Cheltenham. Thank you, John. Andy, your third best bet, please, of the weekend.
Right. I'm going to go with the stay in chase tomorrow at Cheltenham, the 105.
Yep.
Strictly a Dancer. Christian Williams' horse was given a bit of a float up at Chepstow in October, and then got a very good ride from Paul King at Cheltenham last time out over course and distance. I think he looks progressive. Certainly won in. I think he could have won in more convincing fashion. He gave me a bit of a heart attack on the run-in, but I think that was just a little bit of been out there. I think he needs to be held up till the last 2 or 3. Come with a bit of a run. He jumped pretty well. He did make one small error last time out, but he held on pretty well. He was driven out late. Didn't see an awful lot. Looking at the Irish chasers in this, horses that you've got opposites attract at the head of the market. It's not the greatest jumper. Forza Milan, who's been round here before. Plan of Attack actually ran today in that cross-country race, so I'm not sure if he's going to rock up again tomorrow. But the rest of them didn't look. Mine's Made Up, but he didn't really look as though he was going to be one that would follow up. And the rest of the UK or GB chasers didn't really look particularly ahead of their marks. There's a few old plodders in there. Travels well, jumps well. Decent amateur on board. Ben Bromley, seen him ride a few times. It's gone well for Jack Tudor in the past when he's been claiming and been an amateur. Thought he was certainly one to sort of go on to better things. Strictly a Dancer, quite like him. I think the fairest way to do this is with the Plan of Attack maybe not running. And before we go down the Rule 4 route, I'm happy to take a point to win at Betfair SP.
Okay, no, I'm happy to do you. I mean, yeah, okay, we can do that. So Andy recommends so a point win, Strictly a Dancer in the 105 at Cheltenham. That's the staying chase, and he thinks that will follow up the last success after a nice spin the time before. So that's 1 point win, Betfair SP for Andy, very fair as well. Andy, thank you very much for that. So that's your third best bet. Strictly a Dancer. Right, my third best bet goes in the Greatwood on Sunday, the 2:55 race at Cheltenham. That's the feature of Sunday's Cheltenham meeting. A good friend of mine, Dan Gilbert, always tries to win this, and he's got Cormier this year, so I wish him well. Dan, a successful punter, and he'll be doing his best to land the Greatwood yet again. So fingers crossed for Dan. Right, my bet anyway in this is Jesse Evans, the Noel Mead runner, and I can't believe the prices here because I'm very surprised to see the horse available at around the 9-1 mark, because this horse has been tuned up on the flat. It was fourth in the Galway Hurdle off the same mark. Obviously adjustment for the Irish figures, etc. Running, but basically the Irish handicap has left it 139. Now the point is, how is this 9-1 on that form? I mean, when you look at the Galway Hurdle, and you look what the runners around: Saldier, Willie Mullins, Milkwood, which was second, Cape Gentleman in third, Tudor City fifth, etc. This was a very, very strong affair, as it always is, a very valuable affair, and I can't believe that we're getting 9-1 about a Galway Hurdle fourth. Like, I don't think this is as strong a race as the Galway Hurdle, anywhere near. So yeah, a bit perplexed. 9-1, Jesse Evans, and I think for my play, I'm going to go a 1 point win bet on Jesse Evans in the 2:55 Cheltenham Sunday. So that's my third best bet of the week. Right, chaps. Andy, I'll come to you first for bet number 2, second best bet. But before I do so, I'll mention Stocko's second best bet. No reasoning. You get no reasoning with these things. I mean, punters sat listening here. You're thinking, well, why does he fancy it? He'll not tell you. He's not interested in you. He hates people.
He just sent 3 names in. He might as well have sent a picture of his dick.
That many points on that.
Yeah, no one notices. So 2:55 Cheltenham on Sunday. So he's going against me here. is Stocker. And he says this is second best bet, and he wants 1 point each way Botox has. So I see there's 18s available, but I'm not giving him that. He can have 16s, and he can have 6 places, 50 odds. But I'm not giving him the 18s because, he doesn't deserve the 18s for no reasoning. I mean, you can't give no reasoning and expect top price. So 16s, folks, on Botox has each way Greatwood, handicap hurdle, 255 Sunday. That's Ginger Hitler's second best bet of the week. Andy, come to you for your second best bet of the week.
Right. Well, it's in the 215, whatever you want to call it. We'll call it the Paddy Power these days because the sponsors do deserve a mention, or some of them do. Not that rancid lot who sponsor the Grand National, but we're not mentioning. We're not mentioning them. They're giving them enough airtime. This is a real complex race, this 215. Couple of little sort of pointers for people. Protectorate, who was favourite, who's drifted like the proverbial barge now. I mean, he's a 6-year-old off 154. 6-year-olds in this off 140 plus have got a 0 from 40 record in this. So that may well put you off a little bit. There are a host of ways you could play this, but I'm going to go back to last year's third, Al Dancer. He's £5 lower than last year. This strikes me as just being the right time of the year for him. You don't get too many chances with him, and I think before Christmas is the time to sort of almost get him. He ran well. He won the time before he won last year. I think just the time to catch him is fresh. Twister's horses are running, were running a lot better at that time. Of course, he's now disappeared off. But he's now with Sam Thomas. And I just think, Sam's doing well with his horses, isn't he? He's just got that little sort of knack with horses. And he was really well punted last year at Al Dancer. He was 4 lengths third of 154. He's £5 lower this year. I say he's gone from Twisty's Yard to Sam Thomas. He's been a winner first time out for the last 4 seasons. Just think this is the time to catch him. He's got that big field experience that you need. And a few of these haven't, or a few might not be ridden the sort of right way. I think I've sort of come round to him. You just mentioned Dan Gilbert there, and I really nearly put up Nitschke because I do fancy him as well, and I will be back in Nitschke as well. He's got some reasonable form round here. Obviously, he won the Greatwood, didn't he? 2018? He won the Greatwood.
That's right.
15 of the last 22 winners in a chase at the festival. 15 of the last 22 winners ran in a chase at the festival 8 months earlier, and he certainly did that. I think he found the 3 miles of the Ultima just a little bit too much of a test. And in fact, 21 of the last 29 winners of this had won at Cheltenham before, so he's obviously done that. So at a price, Nitschke would be certainly one I'd have on my mind, but just for the purposes of a couple of points, Al Dancer at the head towards the head of the market. I think if he's gonna win a big race, this is the time of year that he can certainly do it. And just one that you might want to trade in running, Spirit of the Games, travels really well, really frustrating horse. His Cheltenham form reads 0 from 7. There's multiple placings in there. He's 6 times he's actually traded at Cheltenham under 130 or less. He's a fairly big price, around sort of 32, 34. But, if he travels well into this, you'd probably be able to get a little bit of a trade out of that. It's a bit of a brain burner of a race, but the more I looked at it, the more I came back to Al Dancer each time.
Yeah, it's a very good case you make. Like you say, he goes extremely well fresh and switched to Sam Thomas. And, everything looks right for Al Dancer, the ground, everything. So, yeah, it's a very strong case. Would you like a win stake or an each way stake? Andy?
Oh, we're going win. I think he's a win or bust with him.
Yeah. Win or bust. 2 points win at the 6-1 generally available.
Pleasure.
Is Andy's call for his second best bet of the week. That's Al Dancer there in the 215, and I'm against Andy and with the Ginger Hitler. This is a very, very dark moment for me for my my second best bet of the weekend. It is very dark indeed. When the selections came through, I was absolutely on the floor. I'm with Zanza, the Hitler selection for no reason whatsoever. The Hitler will be on, But Zanza, for me, this is a horse I've been waiting a long time for Philip Hobbs to do the right thing and step this horse up in trip. For me, it's been crying out for it a while. It finds things at 2 miles happening a little bit quickly all the time, and that puts pressure on his jumping, which might not be as proficient as some of these in here. So I feel this 2.5 mile now is perfect, absolutely perfect, because they'll go a good lick, and he can take his time and pick them off. And I really like this horse because cast your mind back to 12th of December 2020. This horse, when he came down at the third last over 2 miles here, he was trading even money to beat Sky Pirate. And you know, I think he'd have beaten Sky Pirate because I think he'd be too strong up the hill for Sky Pirate, because the way he jumped and travelled that day, he was going to run a career best for me. Now, what's interesting, he made his reappearance in the Haldon Gold Cup at Exeter. He was £4 out of the handicap, and again, you know, found things happening a little bit quick. You know, was probably not fully at the races. This has probably always been in Philip Hobbs' mind, I would think. And I say £4 out of the weights. He was strong at the line. He was running through the line. And you think, right, so you're now back down at 144. The handicapper's left him on 148, so the handicapper respects the run, so he'll be £4 higher anyway. So you're £4 well in. Philip Hobbs has a great record at this meeting. And also a system I posted on the Bar Stewards website earlier this week was suggesting that second time back in the national season for Philip Hobbs, there is, you know, there's nothing not to like about this horse, really. So Xander for me is a solid 1 point each way choice as my second best bet at the 11-1 available with Paddy Power and Betfair 6 places. So hopefully that will do it for me. And with obviously I'll be gutted because he's obviously tipped it as well as the Ginger. So it's a double-edged sword. John, coming to you.
Yeah, this one's a bit left field for you. It's in the 258 at Punchestown.
Yeah.
And it's number 2, Endlessly. Trained by Matthew J. Smith, whose yard is in excellent form at the moment. He's had 2 winners in the last fortnight from not that many, very many runners. Yeah. This is a horse I had my eye on the flat, actually. It got Spencered on its O'Meara debut back in March, and I've kept a fairly close eye on it ever since. Second time up, it was beaten 3/4 of a length over 2 miles around Wolverhampton off 75. It's running over the sticks here off 108. It's just been dropped £2, which means it gets in this lower grade race, which is a 0 to 109. After having 2 sighters under Peter Carberry. The first one was possibly more blatant sighter than the second one, but either way, it's sure to benefit from the step up to 3 miles here. They paid plenty for it, and I think this will outrun its odds tomorrow.
Good stuff. I mean, so you make a look. I mean, obviously Matthew Smith is a known carrots barn in Ireland. You know, some eye-popping stuff there from Matthew Smith usually. And John likes one of his. That's a very interesting choice. 50-1, 5-0, a bullseye for John Joe Leng. John, are we 1.5 each way, or are we 3 on the nose?
We'll go 1.5 each way.
If you just said 3 on the nose, I'd have fell out of my chair. Just to blast Franks out of the water. So 1.5 each way, endlessly at 50s. And we're going to give him 5 places, 150 odds. It's a general sort of each way terms race there for John. That's in the 258 at Punchestown tomorrow. Is John's second best bet. So 1 point each way. Sorry, did I say 1.5 each way? I was getting carried away there. 3 points.
Generous there, mate.
I was thinking. I was getting so carried away at the price. I'm thinking John's tipped to 50s up, and I'm thinking 3 points at 50s. I was like, my eyes lit up like a John Embury long up.
Going back a bit there.
I know, showing me age. So 50s endlessly for John, 1 point each way. To clarify there, that's his second best bet. Okay, folks, I'll set us off for the 3 point round. being the current weakest contestant at the moment. It's always the case. Sadly, they backed it. I've just looked at the prices now. Good Time Johnny in the 325 at Cheltenham on Saturday. The Paddy Power feel like a favourite intermediate handicap hurdle. Good Time Johnny impressed me a lot last time out. This horse has barely been off a yard, obviously, with it being a Tony Martin team. It's very unexposed. And last time, what impressed me, that because as an in-running player, as probably Andy can appreciate, sometimes you think, well, this horse will not be able to quicken off a slow pace, and you think because it needs a good test at 2.5 mile, etc., etc. Well, the fact this did put daylight between himself and the rest of the horses that day, I was blown away by it, and I thought this has got a lot in hand, because wait for a truly run 2.5 mile race, and this will find another stone on top of that one. But sadly, the market's already agreeing. I saw 9-1 earlier today, but I'm still happy at 13-2. I genuinely feel this should go off a well-backed favourite, Good Time Johnny. As I say, I think there's so much more to come, and I'm so confident that, like I say, it's 3 points on the nose. There's no each way on this one. I do think Good Time Johnny has got a lot more to come off a mark of 126. It's too generous, and the truly run race, hopefully, we'll see him in a completely different light to what we've seen him in so far. So much more to come. So 3 points win, Good Time Johnny, 325 at Cheltenham tomorrow at the 13-2, generally available at this moment in time. That might collapse soon, though. Right, Andy, I'll come to you for your maximum of the weekend.
Right, I'm not sure if you're going to need to sound the klaxon here, because it's Jesse Evans.
Jesse Evans, love it. I love it how we all stay quiet and silent, like little assassins. And Andy,
obviously,
there,
absolutely no collusion whatsoever, because I haven't spoken to you for since probably the last 3 or 4 days at least.
Yeah.
And I just the same as you. I looked at it and thought. I've been right through the race, and you've got to respect those at the front end of the market. Blah 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 blah. You've got to handicap debutant at the head of the market, etc. With Mr. Gin O'Clock, Mr. Henderson at the head of the market there. He didn't have a runner there. He didn't have one runner at Cheltenham today. It's very strange. With no Ordinary Joe, West Cork for the Skeltons, who. He's a good target trainer, Dan. You can't deny that. Adagio will be. If that wins off top weight, that's a champion hurdle performance. That really is. You've got to respect ones like Advanced Virgo, but Jesse Evans, like you, I kept thinking this is going to be a lot shorter, because that Galway hurdle form is very, very good. I mean, Salvier won next time out. The horses that he beat next time out at Tipperary. Durasso went on and won. Jason the Militant won on the flat. Milkwood's been no slouch. Cape Gentleman was 4th. That's won a couple of chases since. Burning Victory was 7th. That won next time out. Embittered was 14th. That won a chase next time out. I could go on and on with Jesse Evans. And like you, I sort of stepped there scratching my head and thinking, how is this sort of 9-10-1? This price is going to collapse in a minute. I did manage to burgle a little bit of 10s. Not to an awful lot, and got some money sitting there on Betfair at the moment, which probably won't get matched now. But I did think, you look at the overall form, and surely they've just kept this one back for this particular race.
I agree. I think you can tell.
To me, gave it a run on the flat last time out. Could have preserved the handicap mark or whatever you want to call it, and it just looks a bit. I don't know. In the end, I'm sort of questioning myself and thinking, is this a bit too obvious? But the way the Irish hurdlers that we've seen today come over and win, he certainly didn't need to be his best last time out to win a Navan Maiden. But the hurdles form, even before that, when you go back to May, when it won at was it Kilbeggan? I think it was at Kilbeggan it won back in May. And that was Killarney. That wasn't a bad race either. And just thinking, well, kept this one a little nicely under wraps. But that 4th in a Galway Hurdle stands out like a sore thumb. I mean, there are others in this, and just to touch on it, I did consider Cormier for a while as well for Dan Gilbert as well. I mean, I thought he ran really well in that Foss-Lass race behind Glory and Fortune, who jumped a lot better than he usually does last time out. You'd have to consider him, but Cormier certainly was managed to get on my radar as well. And I think I'll probably have a little each way double with Nitschke and Cormier for the checkerboard colours of Dan Gilbert with the extended places. But like you, Lee, I thought Jesse Evans, if you can get 9 or 10 to 1, is pretty decent.
That's it. I'm going to sound the klaxon. It's a Bar Stewart special. I agree the case is made for Jesse Evans by myself and Andy. I know mine was only third best, but Andy really has made a good case, and I totally concur. And it's got to be a special. So because obviously Andy's made it his best bet of the weekend. Andy, for staking purposes for the table,
I am going to take the. I don't know what you want to give me here. 5 or 6 pegs. 6 pegs is quite prevalent, but I'll take 5 and do it 1.5 each way.
Producer, what was the terms for my third best bet? So 6 places, yeah, same terms. Was it 9? I won't win, but what? But so yes, 6 places. What price did I get? 9s. Yeah, no. Producer says 9s. So we
take that.
So we're having 9s, and it's 6 places for you, Andy. 150 odds each way. So for your 1.5 points each way, and it is, of course, a Bar Stewart special. Before I come to John's best bet of the week, and I'm intrigued by John's best bet of the week after his 50 to 1, 50 to 1 Jim Bowen, bet there. He just astonishing. We don't tip shite here. There's only Stocker and Ginger Hitler that tips rubbish. 355 Cheltenham is the Ginger Hitler's nap. And the best bet of the weekend. And again, no reason, no explanation. It's cold. It's ice cold. It's just that you don't get anything off him. So his 3-point win bet is Bonte in the 355 at Cheltenham tomorrow. That's the bumper. So obviously the Hitler has been watching National Hunt flat races all season by the looks of it. So Bonte is the choice. Paddy Brennan in the saddle. So bad luck there to Ginger Hitler. We all want them beat. Get him at the bottom of the naps table. So Bonte is the Ginger Hitler's best bet of the weekend there in the 355 Cheltenham tomorrow. John, come to you. Last but certainly not least, what's your best bet of the weekend?
This is on Sunday, actually, and it's at Fontwell. Probably last had a bet at Fontwell about 15 years ago. This horse called Ballyegan Hero. Stays well, acts nicely on goodish ground, which I think we're heading for there. Hard fit for this, sporting pork each way.
What race? The 310?
310.
So that's the Southern National. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember this race. Not been through it yet. So Ballyegan Hero. 33 50s and 33s from our John Lang this weekend.
I'm not pitching about
33 to 1. Gary Wiltshire, if you're listening, 33 to 1. Are we saying so each way, John, or are you on the nose?
Yes, I'm definitely going each way.
1.5 each way for John at 33s. It's 3 pegs. That's the best we can do on that at the moment.
That's all right.
But John's happy with that. So James Best could row that one in and knock Frank straight off the top of the tree, I think. John's after him with some big prize fancies. So hope you enjoyed that, folks. We're going to move on to the television action over the 2 days. We'll start, obviously, with Cheltenham tomorrow. And the first terrestrial ITV television race. Why we bother ITV, I don't know. No one watches it. But anyway, we've got the 140, which is again a bit of a disappointing affair. 52,000 guaranteed. And it's the 4 runners. We'll have a chat on the sermon, I think, on Sunday about the national race planning and sort of the way the novice system is run. I think that's the problem. But we'll have a good chat in depth on Sunday, so don't miss that. But right, folks, any views? Anybody want to speak up first on the 140 at Cheltenham?
Yeah, this is pissing horrible, isn't it?
Well, the two runners. Remember, you tipped up Captain Tomcat to beat Mick Pastor, John, last week at Wincanton. So, yeah, well, it's small mercies, but yeah, I mean, obviously, I didn't think that these two were as in the same league as probably Third Time Lucky.
I mean, the betting's got it right, hasn't it? Right?
Yeah. I didn't see an edge. I mean, Mick Pastor did what I thought he was going to do for the last three or four wins that he strung together, because he has bled in the past, and I always think Mick Pastor is one of those where if it gets hot for him, he's not going to find much off the bridle. And you were right, John, last week at Wincanton, Captain Tomcat just basically had the physical and wherewithal to keep going and make Mick Pastor come out of his comfort zone, and he wasn't able to respond.
It's a bit of a rule of thumb for me over the sticks, I tend to avoid anything in a chase that's got gear on it. And by gear, I mean cheap pieces, tongue ties, hood, blinkers, whatever, because I think in the main, they're sour enough bastards anyway, most of these. And, chases are attritional and horrible in my view, and I think you need a horse that doesn't need all the accoutrements to put its best foot forward if possible,
No, very fair play. Sebastopol, like the Jimmy White of horse racing at the moment. Plenty of seconds there. But Mick Pastor, harsh, John. Mick Pastor and Captain Tomcat, all the wins, but I take where you're coming from. Third Time Lucky is definitely a class apart. Do you agree, Andy?
I think so. I mean, I wouldn't be backing it sort of. Well, I'm looking at Betfair 1.42, 1.43, but I agree with John. Watching Mick Pastor last time out, you thought he's finally done what you thought he was going to do. Captain Tomcat is he's a hardy old soul, but he's in that sort of category where you think he's made hay over. There's a lot of these around at the moment, made hay over the summer. And then you just get into where what I call the proper winter horses are coming out, and he's just getting a bit found out at the moment. And Sebastopol loves coming second. I think if he came second yesterday, or tomorrow, they'd be very happy with that. But Third Time Lucky, he's a decent enough animal. But a race to enjoy a cup of tea over. You boys will probably have the gin out, but
gin and paste. Tomorrow, we might see the opening of the old bathtub gin at 57% during that race, just to stay sane. I should have opened it for the Rachel Blackmore race today, but the two run a novice. But never mind. It'll still go to good use tomorrow.
That's just you put in an eye bath, isn't it?
Well, they say 70% kills COVID, so we're getting there.
Has anybody killed Trump?
That's what they say. 70% and apparently viruses cannot survive.
Well, Trump said drink domestos, didn't he? So we're not at 70%.
I mean, no one has a disclaimer whether your liver packs in and during the ceremony, but I mean that's what they say. They say that 70% alcohol that's it. Viruses are gone. So maybe we should tell poor Catherine Fry that's laying home sick at the moment. have some paraffin.
Get the gin out for her. She'll be all right.
I know, poor lass. Right, anyway, we'll move on to the 215, which is the Paddy Power. And me and Andy are barred from speaking on this because we've already spoke on it. So I'm going to ask John if he's got any view on the Mackerson.
Well, yeah, I've got Man of the Mountain, haven't I?
We've all done it.
Oh shit! Yeah, of course you have. Yeah, man. Well, do you know what? John's thrown me there because he's thrown out sort of three big prices.
That's me short priced one.
I'm going to say that's his shortest price one. I've been blinded by his bigger two. So yeah, we've all got selections.
I'm going to combine John's three in an each way doubles and trebles just in case.
Yeah, good shout. I mean, we love some. I'd love one of these big prices, or more than one, but certainly one to roll in tomorrow. I'll be celebrating that fact because I'll have a little bit on it, whatever. It stops you being sick anyway. That a fellow contributor's tipped up a massive price, and you had a shilling on. That has happened a few times, and it's like you see Catherine Fry weighing me one at like 33s or 40s, and you stare at your screen and just think, what am I doing? But yeah, anyway. So we move on to the 250 race. That's the Paddy Power Games handicap hurdle. Quite a competitive affair, this one, and quite a nice race, nice feel to it. Any views here? And anyone can start me off.
Well, Prashima ran really well last time, didn't it? In the conditions at Weatherby.
Yeah.
The thing is, I mean, you could maybe have said it was value for more than the £3 it's gone up, but there's all these attendant dangers of taking conditions race form into handicaps. We hear it all the time, don't we? Whereas you look at Prashima's previous handicap form, and you think maybe was just about at the top of its mark, but the horse is only 6, so it's within the bounds of possibility that it's improved. I think it'll be hard to beat tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So Prashima for the Skeletons. Hopefully Harry will have his riding gear on tomorrow. Switched on, Harry, for John. Andy, anything in this for you?
The enigmatic Sporting John. I think I'm being kind calling him enigmatic, but he's had wind surgery. I just wonder whether Mr. Hobbs might actually get to the sort of getting back where he was.
Yeah.
I mean, his jumping just went to pieces, didn't it? Strangely went to pieces over fences. And he's actually not badly sort of handicapped here. I mean, when he was running, he ran in the Ballymore in 2020, didn't he? Just looked, I don't know, it just all started to go wrong from there.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. I thought that the solid one, if there is one, is Ballymillsy. Won over a couple of races at Warwick over 3-2. He won at 3-2 in Newton Abbot over that same sort of trip. He has got form. He was upsides Dragon Bones.
Yes,
his penultimate start. I think he probably got a little bit of potential. It wouldn't be a race. Those were the two that I thought whether Prashima can reproduce that form in a handicap. It's got a little bit of a question mark there, but Sporting John is, I mean, if you like the enigmatic, then he would be for you. But I thought Ballymillsy was probably the one I found that I thought that was probably the most, using the V word, the most value in a race which doesn't overly appeal for punting purposes.
Well, me and you, Andy, are same. I'm in two camps. I'd like if Sporting John's firm in the market, then I'm a Sporting John fan a little bit, because I want to know that, because Hobbs obviously likes this meeting. I think this will be targeted, and Ballymillsy from a strength factor. The trainer and the breeders of this describe this as a big weak horse, Ballymillsy, and the fact that it's still a very young horse to be contesting staying herd. It's got time on its side, and I do believe it'll just get better and better. I did back the horse strongly last time at Newton Abbot, and I'm confident again of a big run again here. But yeah, it's probably going to be near to market leader Ballymillsy, and same reasons for you with Sporting John. Bit of touch of class there that if it comes back to former glories, could look different gear. We'll move on quickly to the 325. Obviously, Good Time Johnny was my choice, so I'll sit that one out. Any thoughts on the 325, guys?
I would have been with you. In fact, I nearly put this in as the third best. Good Time Johnny. I wanted to see how his runner ran today in the last Tony Martin's. It actually travelled all right for a while. I'm not sure, it was down the inside, and that begs another point today, whether the inside of the track is not a little softer than the outside. Something to watch for tomorrow, and it develops over the weekend. We've seen that before, and we've obviously seen Paddy Brennan taking that very outside route as well. So I just wondered whether that was probably kept towards the inside. So you made a very good case for Good Time Johnny, and that price is collapsing. You were quite right. Someone's listening in. I think it's down to.
Somebody's listening to the pre-record. It's the producer. The producers opened up 7 or 8 betting accounts and probably smashing into
trading that back. The other one, in respect to the two at the front end of the market, Unexpected Party and Mackleduff. Unexpected Party was impressive at Weatherby last time out, 8 lengths handicap debut, but might just be a little bit underpriced. Mackleduff did well to win at Aintree. I sort of found a lot of progression. The other one I thought was interesting was Gal Road. I think he's run well in some warm races, and that's 6th when he came back in whatever we call it now, the Silver Trophy at Chepstow. This isn't as tough as that, and that wasn't a bad run, and that form's working out quite well. I thought he was a little bit, couple against the field there, a little bit overpriced, but Good Time Johnny and Gal Road. Whether they will be overpriced by the time we get there is another matter.
Well, that's it. Price is king. John, anything you're in?
Yeah, I'd run in with Gal Road as well. I think this is a much better horse than 134. I'm quite interested in Twister's comments in the Racing Post, actually. He says he's very good, but it would be the softer the ground, the better for him. Some freak heavy showers would do his chances no harm. I think this horse is on a really good mark. It wouldn't do any harm to keep this in mind for something. Maybe in a month or so if the ground is red and softer.
Yeah. No, good point. So John thinks Gal Road off 134 is interesting for this year going ahead. And Twister's in better form this year than last. So worth a look, John. See what the weather's like also. Your confidence will be increased if you get a shower or two. We'll move on to Sunday, which is the Cheltenham third and final day. The 145 race, which is the staying handicap. Where Empire de Mold for Brian Hughes is favourite at 9-4. Yala Enki's second favourite 130. Yala Enki would be for me a certainty if the ground was soft. Obviously, I'm probably not going to be, so that's a waste of time. But there's not much pace in here, and I found it quite difficult to solve because of that fact that Yala Enki will probably bomb on, and with the ground not being slow enough for him, might end up struggling. Now he's getting on a bit. Andy, John, anything here?
There wasn't a lot to go at. I think Yala Enki's probably the one. I think you probably get a trade out of him at least. Go another one wasn't particularly impressive last time out. Rocky's Treasure has certainly got 2 ways of running and something of the night about him. The Mighty Don again, not the greatest jumper. Forza Milan's in tomorrow, so I presume they've just left that one in, and that sort of left me back in a Ewart horse, which I'm afraid I can never do. I'm like you. Yeah, I cannot have whatsoever. He did. The horse won with a bit in hand at Kelso last time out, and I'm a massive Brian Hughes fan, but they just never seem to run 2 races alike. People may be fans. I'm not, and it wouldn't be a race I'd be betting in. If I had a small play in it, it would be Brian need to go out and probably try and ride them to sleep, but I don't think she will in this. But it needs softer ground, Yala Enki, but you know where he's going to be, and he's a pretty solid old devil, so he'd be up front and he may well shorten, but it's not really the most appetising of races, is it?
No. John, thoughts?
I've got a bit of a theory about Yala Enki, and it's a bit similar to me Hollydale Trushan theory. The only thing is, I don't think this horse jumps brilliant for her.
Oh, for Bryony? Yeah, she's only won twice on it, to be fair. Yeah, I'm looking at that. Yeah.
We're off twice last year. And there's quite a few of its runs where I don't know. I don't think it wants riding like Frodon. I think sometimes she tries to ride it like Frodon. If I was doing anything in this race, it'd be a Sporting Place late of Yala Enki.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I will or not, but that's my theory.
It could work on the ground if it's good to soft. Yala Enki's it certainly needs a little bit more dig than that.
I think it could get its jumping at it, and she's not going to knock spots off it first time up if it gets headed. So.
Okay, good stuff, John. Good angle. I like your analysis on jockeys and stuff and getting best out of horses. So that's John's angle there. 220 is the Shloer chase, a Grade 2 affair. Again, another very tricky encounter for me. Put the kettle on, and Newbury Negra very closely matched on form last year. It's one of those again, chaps, for me. Whatever jumps well, whatever does it more right, ends up winning. Did you feel the same, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, all the British runners are in a tongue tie. All the 4 runners come here off 200+ day breaks, but they've all won off long breaks as well. So you can't really play the fresh angle. You've got 2 Nichols horses, one of which is first time out for him in Rouge Vif. We got from poor old Harry Whittington, who probably didn't do anything wrong with the horse, to be honest with you. And they're both first time Windops as well. Newbury Negra, is he a bit soft? I mean, this is a bit my sort of theory as well on him. He's got 4 odds on defeats on his CV. 2 have come at Cheltenham, 1 at Sandown, both with stiff finishes. Admittedly, 1 was over hurdles. And I just think put the kettle on might have a little bit too much attitude, gumption, whatever you want to call it. It's not a race you really want to be playing in. But, there's question, and it's one of those sort of races. The more you go around, you can find pros and cons for just about every horse here. But put the kettle on sort of leads me back to that one. She won it last year. She's 4 from 4 round here. Of the 4, she's probably the most solid round here and will get the run of the race. And I do think Aidan Coleman gets on very, very well with her. And Newbury Negra, can he produce it up the hill? Not really. I'm not really sure. And then the other 2 are, first time Windops, might just need it, but they have won fresh before. Again, it's not a particularly appetising race, but if you put a gun up my head, and probably quite a few people would like to, put the kettle on would be the one I'd go with.
The rumours I've heard of Politologue not particularly working very well at the moment. I mean, it's just rumours. I'm not saying don't follow that cast iron, because you know racecourse contact rumours are like. But yeah, I'm told that the horse just not working well, which has put me off from backing that Politologue. John, any view here?
Yeah, if I'm playing in that race, it means the dentist was shut and I couldn't get a root canal done.
more gin pit, and me and John are napping the Dutch Gouda, John.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
The Dutch
M&S Gouda.
Yeah, Marks and Spencer's Dutch Gouda. I don't know why I'm saying this, because I don't want it ever to run out, because that's my go-to cheese.
Could be supply problems.
Yeah, Dutch Gouda is a Sunday fare really. Pates for Saturday with gin. Dutch Gouda, get that out on a Sunday afternoon with a nice sort of Riesling. That perfect combo for watching that race. So it's Riesling and Gouda.
Bottle of tonic port from there, I think.
For the Shloer. For the bar stewards on that one. 255. Well, we've had the bar stewards klaxon, so me and Andy are like Zippy with his mouth shut on this one. And John, can you be like Bungle and give us a good shout on this one?
I should probably stick a frock on and do my Maddie Playle impression, because I thought her 2 were pretty good selections, Cormier and West Cork.
But yeah, she's the tipster in form. She's been tipping up winners right, left, and centre. The Racing Post pundit.
She's certainly in better form than me, along with every other tipster with a pulse at the minute. So
I think so. Yeah. So yeah, Cormier, and I do want Cormier to do well. Love Dan Gilbert, because he puts a lot of money into the game. He's a fearless punter. He doesn't court attention like some punters would. And yeah, he's a thoroughly nice guy. And,
if there's an extra lad in the game, then Dan, I haven't met him.
No, absolutely. Even when we were in Australia once, and he were borrowing money off me at a blackjack table. But I mean, this is Dan. This is what you do for him. He's just fantastic. We've had such good times, and like I said, hopefully it's a big day for Dan. If I don't back the winner,
it's 2 big days, because with Nietzsche.
Absolutely, yeah, we Nietzsche on the Saturday.
Each way double, and the Dan Gilbert double with the extended places. I think they both run well, actually. Could both do with a touch more rain, couldn't they? But quite interesting, the pair of them.
No, fingers crossed. So 3:30. This is our last preview race. We've not got much time for Lingfield. Not that I had any bets there. In the last of the Churchill and the other one. But the 3:30 at Cheltenham on Sunday is again a disappointing field, a 4-runner affair. I did watch the French horse, Sonny Gino, and had the form worked out a little better with the one that it beat, that finished 5th at Wetherby, and I actually bet that, but I'm not sure if they stopped it or whether it was just no good. I couldn't quite make my mind up. But Sonny Gino beat this in France that finished 5th at Wetherby recently, and I was very impressed with Sonny Gino because it looks athletic. It was a front runner. It was out and away. When it got headed, it fought back and fought like a lion and ran right through the line. I did like it, but I have no idea if it's probably good enough to beat the Skeleton horse, which obviously was quite impressive in beating Tritonic. Although Tritonic didn't jump particularly well when I Like to Move It beat it. But interesting to hear your two thoughts on the finale.
Sonny Gino, that's a hell of a quartet of owners, isn't it? There you've got you've got the Haleses, Sir Alex Ferguson, and I'm assuming this is former lumbering heavyweight contender Gary Mason.
Gary Mason.
In the middle of this, which would be absolutely fascinating. See them four lining up in the paddock pre-race, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Probably just about give me reason to watch it, I think. Hoping Gary Mason and Sir Alex get a bit...
I think it's more likely to be Jed Mason.
One than the other two.
No, Gary Mason. It's Gary Mason, Andy, definitely.
It's a better story that way, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, if Sonny Gino, John, if the second had not got beat at Wetherby and finished 5th, I'd have been all over this because I love this in France. But as I said, I'm not privy to how it's, sometimes French horses need to acclimatise, and I don't know if it can beat the favourite. I honestly don't know myself. So, but I do like Sonny Gino as a horse, as a type.
It's a very interesting runner, isn't it?
It's very athletic. You'll like it because it'll go. They'll make the running with it. It takes a little bit of a grip, but it jumps well and it travels well. So for traders out there, you might be interested for strides, I think, hopefully. But Andy, view on this?
The only thing I thought about was I Like to Move It for in-running players is that he's actually traded well above his Betfair SP, which is probably the fairest measure in all his runs. So the horse does fine for. I always like to have a note of horses like that when I'm watching races in running, because quite often the market overreacts to them. And you can get some quite tasty prices on them sometimes with if they do fine for pressure. And that was my one comment about I Like to Move It. He does fine for pressure. I like his attitude. He was 9th in the champion bumper. He's done well this year. I've been quite impressed with him. But as you say, you've got a couple of still one unknown quantity in here in Sonny Gino, and I'm not quite sure what to make of Washington yet. So he's had less experience. He won quite well at Bangor last time out, and as I say, Sonny Gino, I'll bow to your experience there of the French racing. He could be quite interesting, couldn't it? It's a small field, but still a fascinating little race. But I'd say it would not surprise me to see I Like to Move It trade. Would I be backing him? I would probably be at it's the very weak Betfair market at the moment, but anything under 6-4, I'd probably be a layer and trying to back him back in running. That's the way I'd be playing it anyhow. Especially if you say if Sonny Gino goes on first, watch him line up and you can take it from there. But not really a race you want to punt. It's an interesting race and one for the future, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, right. That's just about all us done. I hope you've enjoyed this show, because we did, and had a few laughs on the way. And we've even given you Ginger Hitler selections also. Myself, John, and Lorne Malvo are back on Sunday with the Sunday Sermon. We've got some interesting talking points this week, and we don't mince our words. We seem to upset everybody. The Horse Betters Forum, everyone. We upset everyone. It's fantastic. We'll be upsetting more on Sunday, so don't miss that. As usual, get your Sunday evening fare. That's all from me tonight. Myself, Andy Richmond, and John Lang. Bye for now.
Right, the show's over, boys. Thank you very much.